So, in the previous video, we talked about the short-term memory. Ito naman yung third stage of the information processing model. So, yung first stage is sensory memory, second stage is short-term memory, and the third stage is the long-term memory. So, bago siya pumunta sa long-term memory, from the short-term memory, it needs consolidation, it needs maintenance, rehearsal, repeating it over and over again. No? So, yung capacity ng long-term memory seems to be unlimited, virtually unlimited. If you think about it, pagka you can always learn new information all throughout your life, diba? So that's why, the idea of lifelong learning, I think that's really true. No? Kahit na matanda ka na, you can still learn new information. Kaya tayo dapat laging growth mindset. And yung duration niya is relatively permanent. If you've learned something, you can actually relearn something kasi minsan hindi mo na siya ma-access, right? Yun naman yung problema, yung retrieval eh. So, the duration here is relatively permanent. And yung encoding niya, we're gonna go back to the levels of processing model wherein yung meaning ng words are important for us to transfer it from short-term to long-term memory. No? So, yung encoding niya is usually semantic, based on meaning. No? So, there are two ways to transfer short-term memory to transfer information from short-term memory to your long-term memory. One is maintenance rehearsal. Yung repetition, just over and over again, repeating it to yourself. And second is elaborative rehearsal. So, linking yung information to existing knowledge. Ibig sabihin yung meaning niya. Right? For example, if you are studying now this topic, yung long-term memory natin, na topic, na subject, you're actually linking it to what you've already learned in the previous videos or even the whole chapter, excuse me, of memory. Nililink nyo siya sa mga previous chapters natin so that you're able to understand it better and transfer it from your short-term to your long-term memory. Now, there are also different types of long-term memory, and those are non-declarative and declarative. So just looking at the words, you can actually surmise already kung ano yung sabihin ng mga to. If it's non-declarative, it's implicit. So skills, habits, classical conditioning, for example, and it involves cerebellum and the amygdala. Okay? So, like for example, riding a bike, it's a skill, it's a habit, or playing the piano, it's also a skill, it's a habit. Or driving, for example, you don't necessarily declare what you're doing, or playing sports, but you know how to do it. As opposed to declarative, wherein you explicitly, consciously recall facts or events. Nasa hippocampus naman to and the cortex. So if you look at the long-term memory, meron siyang declarative memory and non-declarative memory. I remember, so for example, I can still play the piano after all these years. Kahit hindi ko siya actively pinapractice because it's already transferred to my long-term memory. Motor skill siya, it was conditioned already. So yun, playing the piano or playing the guitar also. Playing sports. That's why when you play sports, pagka nag-start siya ng maaga, mas may advantage yun kasi pumasok na yun sa long-term memory niya. So that's long-term, that's non-declarative memory. There's also the declarative memory, which is composed of the two, episodic memory and semantic memory. Yung declarative memory is, again, more of the conscious recall of words or memories that you have, or, parang autobiographical memories, yung episodic memory. So, I'll give you an example here. I still remember when I was in grade 4, I was asked to say this tongue twister in front of the whole student body ata yun eh. And it was because of parang event, English book week or something, and then I was part of the English club. A grade 4 me was part of the English club, and then we were displaying kung ano yung mga benefits ng pag-join ng English club. And one of the benefits is that you learn things like tongue twisters. So, pina-tongue twister ako ng teacher ko sa stage. And I still remember the tongue twister until today. It was Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled pepper, a peck of pickled pepper, Peter Piper pick. If Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper pick? I still remember it to this day, even if it's not useful anymore. Maybe in explaining this concept. Pero I was just thinking about it, and parang I think I still remember it because it was a meaningful event. It was an episodic memory, also semantic memory kasi we all know that, I mean, at least that the existence of that tongue twister. Alam natin na may Peter Piper peck of pickled pepper. But I was just thinking, paano siya na-transfer sa long-term memory even until this day and I can recall it and retrieve it. It was maybe because it was a relevant experience for me. It was a meaningful experience kasi dumami yung membership nung English club namin na yun. And people were commending me, and then the teacher was also commending me, good work, ganyan. So I think it was because of that, no? It was relevant, it was meaningful, napunta siya sa long-term memory. So that's an example of a declarative memory, a specific type of long-term memory, no? As opposed to, playing the piano, the guitar, or sports. Yun naman yung non-declarative memory, no? So ito yung sinabi ko kanina, yung tongue twister nga, general knowledge yun, yung existence of that tongue twister, facts, concepts, 2 plus 2 is 4. But there's also this episodic memory, but these are both part of the declarative memory. You're able to declare it, verbalize it. You're able to share your personal experiences, right? When you create videos for this subject, or whenever you share in class, episodic memory yung ginagamit yung when I ask you to relate it to your personal experiences, like your life events, no? It's autobiographical. That's episodic memory. There's also the organization of long-term memory. Ano ba yung organization ng long-term memory? So, you can actually look at it from a semantic network model. Ano ba pinagkaiba ng dalawang to? Actually, hindi siya super magkaiba. There is an overlap of these concepts. They're related, okay? But there's some nuance. Ano yung nuance na yon? So, these are both talking about the organization of long-term memory. Yung semantic network model is just basically para siyang mind map, no? So, nag-overlap siya with parallel distributed processing in such a way na pagka sinabi mong yung word na sinabi mo yung word na psychology, for example, you think about certain things like memory, learning, personality, right? Isipin mo yung mga yon. Therapy, counseling. Yan, para siyang may mind map ka na sa brain mo. And the parallel distributed processing is actually yung model that look at how you activate yung process of recalling them, no? Yung multiple concepts accessed simultaneously. If you access them, hindi lang siya static na nandun sa brain mo na mind map. Okay? It's actually tawag nito. Para siyang kung meron tayong electric grid sa brain natin. Okay? And there are concepts, no? Yung static picture of it would be the semantic network model. Sabihin, yung mga ibig sabihin, yung mga words na yon, yung mga konsepto na yon, may mga meanings, right? Psychology, nasa gitna, tapos memory, personality, counseling, therapy, psych, statistics, lahat yon may ibig sabihin. When you activate them, kasi process yung parallel distributed processing, yung PDP, multiple concepts accessed simultaneously, happening at the same time. Yan yung parallel distributed processing. Hindi siya linear like the information processing model. So like browsing interlinked web pages. Okay? So parang ganito, no? Yan, animal, merong word na animal, yung concept na yan is the semantic network model. Right? But when we talk about them, that's a good way of putting it. When we talk about them and we actively recall and explain them, these concepts, you're using the parallel distributed processing model. Okay? I hope you get that. This is the static thing that already is imprinted in our brain. Pero when we talk about an animal that is a bird, that can fly, has wings, has feathers, I'm actively recalling it right now kung ano-ano na yung mga pumapasok sa isip ko. This is the parallel distributed processing model. So, ano ngayon? Why does this matter? No? I just want to go back to how information from the short-term memory gets transferred to the long-term memory. If you want to make meaningful connections, right? If you want to make sure that the relationships that you build are meaningful, relevant to you and to that other person, if you want to make them feel that they're meaningful also, recall memories, try to remember events in their lives. No? It will make them feel na parang, oh, you value me. Kasi ganun din man yung mararamdaman mo, di ba? If people, recall memories, from your past, shared experiences ninyo, then you would also feel valued, right? So that's what long-term memory is. I hope you learned something. I'll see you again on the next video.